Okay, so this is how I do my mountain paintings. First, spray down a coat of yellow, just to cover almost the whole paper. Leave the bottom open, I'll explain why later. Then, go over it with some more yellow if you missed some spots, which I did. And then use a can of orange and almost completely cover up the yellow, but don't put too much paint on, because you don't want your paint too wet. And plus, the yellow going through the orange kind of gives it a nice, this is supposed to be a sunset, or at dusk. So, now do a little bit of red at the top. So, yes. Now, fold your magazine paper in half once, 3 times. This will give you a nice hard edge to use, and then you're just going to smear it in basically an upside down V. Now I sprayed some clear coat because the paint was wet, and as you can see paint was dry, and as you can see it still was because I added more. So basically just make mountain shapes with the magazine paper. And then the left side of the mountains you don't really need to highlight because we'll be doing that with the palette knives. But the right side you really want to build because there will be no highlighting on that side. So make that side pretty blended. Now you don't want your paint so wet that it scrapes all the way down to the white paper, because then it smears and it looks bad. But then just take your palette knife and start highlighting the edges, the left side, or the right side, because it's supposed to look like the sun is on that side. So you don't want to do just straight lines, you want to kind of curve them up a little bit, or curve them, you curve them up, like the shape of a mountain. And you don't want to make them perfectly straight. Like you can see that line I just did was pretty squiggly. That was actually unintentional. I was kicking myself for that, but I realized it came out good later. I just have really shaky hands. So you just scrape away with the palette knife, and then after a while you're going to get paint crap built up on the knife, so you wipe it off on the sock or scrape it off. And after this you're going to spray down some white to make your foreground. Holy cow, that was too early. I thought it was just going to cut to the next scene. My bad. Forget you heard that. Even though this is in 4 times sped up, it's still too slow. Alright, now spray some white, and make sure this is wet, otherwise your magazine paper will stick. Fold it in half and draw the mountains, and it stuck. I suck! So, spray some clear coat and peel it off with your palette knife as best as you can, and just go over it. I should have sprayed clear coat down, seeing as how I just realized that the paint wasn't wet enough. So there you go. Now do it on the other side, and it's not going to show it, but after you're done with this and you connect the two, spray white in front of it, and then black, lower than the white. So going from top to bottom, it should be red, orange, mountains, white, hills, white, and then black. Where the orange is right now is where the white will be, and then where the yellow is will be the black, as you can see, like this. And then just kind of draw some rocks, and I have it zoomed in to show how I do the trees. I'm just spraying some clear coat down because the paint was drying. So you just you're gonna start at the bottom with the palette knife, and I'll put up a video of how I do the trees better, so I can explain it better. But you're basically just gonna draw the branches of the tree. Always start at the bottom and build up. That way it gives it more of a depth to it. And the black you're going to dab with the sock. You turn the sock inside out and you dab at it, and it gives it like a rough texture. but the foreground that I was showing you how to do with the magazine paper, that's basically so that it's not like sky, mountains, and then BAM! Trees. Because mountains don't really just float. So it breaks up the middle of the picture. So now I'm just spraying some clear coat and drawing grass. And you're basically just going to flick the palette knife upwards. So, and for rocks, you basically just do a curvy. You take the palette knife and make like a half circle, but kind of like, you know how when people were kids and they drew birds. Now I'm quoting this from another, like a video that I watched, but like the birds where it was just the two lines that met in the middle, like a stick bird, I guess you could call it. That's basically what you do, except you don't have that little V shaped, it's just circle. So, oh, look, I drew flowers. I'm so cool. Now, fold your sock in half 3 times, and make it in a crescent shaped. Then spray some green paint on it, and dab it on top of the black, but try not to get it on top of your grass, and don't get it on your tree, because that would look weird. I mean, unless you want moss on your tree, but I personally don't. Like, I go around everything, because it's supposed to be the grass. He must bring us a shrubbery. That's a movie quote. Alright. Now, spray some yellow on the sock. Come on, there's the yellow. Spray it on the sock. And dab it lightly. This is a highlight color, so you don't want to use too much. The black is the low light, the green is the mid-tone, and the yellow is the highlight. Ooh, I feel so fancy using proper art terms. Now, block off the bottom of your painting and spray a light coat of blue. Or a lot of blue like I did, which was dumb. Then mist some white over the top. And then a little bit of orange to make it look like it's reflecting from the sky, because it'll all blend in nice. And then just smear it. You want to do straight lines and short strokes. You don't want to make it look like light blue water. You want to make it look like blue with white and orange in it. So, alright, so there's the final project. And I think I'm going to put a picture in right about here. So there you go. I hope this was cool and everybody can see how I do it, because a bunch of people have been asking me how I do it, even though there's probably 20,000 billion videos on YouTube. So, goodbye.